What is something you don't understand but feels like it's too late to ask? Every Monday morning for the last 6 months a guy I work with walks up to me and says, "Monday," with the tone you would use to say, "morning," as a greeting. I think it's a movie quote, because he always laughs like it's a joke. I've smiled and laughed along this entire time and now it's too late to ask him what he's referencing. I do my best to hide from him every Monday now. I'd love any insight. You should find this man and Tuesday him to see what happens. Maybe do a Wednesday. I think Friday might be too intense to begin with, but if you're up to the task, give it a go. The loop, swoop and pull method of tying shoes. Been using bunny ears since I can remember and even tried learning the other way once. At this point I don't even care. Yes, I still use bunny ears because no one ever taught me any other way. I don't know if I missed that day in elementary school or what, but I have no clue. I'm interning with a judge. Let's call him Bob Roberts. I got the position through his son, and have been doing this for 2 months. The catch, in the last 2 months I have never called him by his name. I don't understand which term would be acceptable. Bob, because he's my friend's dad. Mr. Roberts, because he's an adult and I'm a teenager. Judge Roberts, because he's a judge. I compromised with myself by never saying his name, which is also kinda awkward. And because I was afraid to clarify at the start, I've been stuck in this quagmire for the whole summer. Help. My guess would be to keep it professional and call him Judge Roberts, and if he wants you to call him something else he would let you know. Do I actually have to do separate loads of laundry for hot and cold wash, or can I just keep washing everything on cold? I recently learned that you periodically need hot washes to keep your machine clean. Otherwise soap scum and other dirt can build up and leave stains on your clothes even after washing. So, A. How do I make friends if I'm not in school anymore? Do I just barge into an existing group, say, in a local whatever sports club, and ignore the awkward feeling of being an intruder long enough that I somehow belong to? Why do hot farts stink so much more than the cool ones? Is the temperature of the fart higher, making us feel hot? Or is it something having to do with the blood vessels in your butt? And why would hot ones stink so badly? I have a double light switch on the kitchen wall by my garage and dining room entrances. I still flip both of them to figure out which controls what lights. I've lived there for 3 years. Lablamica. I don't get why this isn't standard everywhere, as if it is somehow weird to have switches with labels on them in your house. My stove has labels on the dial so I don't see why my light switches shouldn't. Physics. I passed Physics 101 by the skin of my teeth. Literally by 2 points. I still don't understand how I managed to pass that class. I assume the math gods finally took pity on me. With curve grading, success is determined by the incompetence of your classmates. What it's like to be in a serious relationship with someone who you don't see a future with. Guys either didn't make it past a casual relationship with me, or he, were extremely serious and we'd plan our life together. How can you stay with someone that you don't want to spend the rest of your life with? Not necessarily understanding but just the names of my co-workers and regulars at work. What a rundown is. My boss asked me to make him a rundown of all my clients. I'm not sure what that is but he asked me hours ago so it's too late to ask him. Makeup. I'm a 40-year-old woman who really never learned how to apply makeup beyond eyeshadow and mascara and now I feel ridiculous asking someone to teach me. How all my family members are related. I grew up in this family, so there was never a time someone sat me down and said, "Okay, Jim is Bob's dad, who is your uncle's cousin's son," etc. It's just assumed you know. How to be a proper adult. Somehow I've lived on my own for the past 10 years and I still don't feel like I've got the hang of it. I've only had 2 jobs in that whole time but I still feel like I'm just a 15-year-old pretending to be an adult. I said this to one of my friends who is a decade older than me, owns his own home and seems like a competent adult. He told me that's the secret, there are no real adults. What the heck does the A stand for in fricking A? Or is it A? So confused. Who is Paul Manafort, Michael Cohen, George Papadopoulos, etc, 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 etc. They have all been on the news every day and I still don't know what is going on. Why was Mamma Mia made with all ABBA songs? Did they just really love ABBA? I kind of thought ABBA was just a good band, but not something someone would make a play out of. It's a jukebox musical. There's a Frankie Valli one, a Billy Joel, and a bunch others. I view them as a cash grab. Hey, people really like ABBA. They have a large enough catalog that we can string G's story together. That being said, I hate the idea of Mamma Mia, but goddamn if it isn't a ton of fun to watch. How to talk to a guy I like. I don't know what to say to a guy I'm interested in. I'm not good at small talk at all. I just turned 24 and don't have any friends that I can ask that are even dating. I'm not close with my married sister, so I can't even talk to her. Oh honey, a guy will talk to you about anything. Ask them what they're eating or drinking at a restaurant or bar, and move on from there. I go out to eat alone, and if anyone is somewhat near to me I talk to them. Sometimes guys are shy too. They'll appreciate you making the first move. I joined my high school soccer team a month ago, and every now and then they'll tell me to get back because I'm offsides. I've never known what it means, and at this point I'm too afraid to ask. I don't have a clue how to care for someone else, yet they let me leave the hospital with a brand new one. He's been crying for an hour now. Fed change and good temp. What next? Feed it sometimes. In some calculus class we had to compute the dot product. To this day I don't know what the dot product actually is. I just learned when and where to calculate it. That and trig identities like 1 plus cos x equals something else. Who the heck the Kardashians are? And where did they come from? Why are they famous at all? Literally one day I know nothing of them. Next day they're everywhere. I still don't know much about them beyond that one's butt being in a lot of pics. It's bewildering to me. I know I don't watch a lot of news or read a ton of magazines, but sheesh. What jobs I can apply for after my degree, and if these 3 years worth of knowledge will have anything to do with my job at all. How to reach the social developmental milestones I didn't get as a kid. Like, I had a chaotic childhood and never went to the same school twice until high school. My mother didn't model responsibility, just learned helplessness and some amazing lying skills. I got super smart because I had to figure things out quick or get beaten. So I did really well on tests, and approximately 100% of the adults in my life said, "You're so smart. Now if you just apply yourself." Like, B. Applying myself is the thing I never learned how to do. My life was basically, have fun until crisis, resolve crisis ASAP, go back to fun until next crisis. Delayed gratification never paid off for me as a kid, and so I psychologically couldn't count on anything to ever pay off in the future. Instant gratification was the only kind I ever got. In my 20s, I found out that hard work is a skill and not just a choice, so I tried to develop that skill. But it didn't work, because I didn't have the willpower, that is, developed skill, to set up and stick to the reward scheme I needed to develop the skill. In grad school, it was to the point where I'd let a paper go all semester, start it on the due date, turn it in 2 days late, and still get an A. I was studying education, FFS, and whenever I'd try to tell my peers or advisors about my problem, they'd say, "Look, I don't have time for this, you need to figure it out yourself." Fair. My developmental issue is affecting your bottom line. You are teaching me how to do this crap and bridge those dev gaps for kids. Why can't I get the same treatment? You need to have this sorted out already. Well, I don't. So how do I get help with it? Not my problem. Ugh. Sorry for rant. But it's like, I understand the problem so clearly, and what I want more than anything RN is basically to go back to grade school. Have a consistent reward scheme for easy tasks that gradually scaffolds up to intermittent delayed rewards for increasingly complex tasks. And that's the one goddamn thing I can't get. I need help and practice at structuring my life, but I don't have the skills to give myself even the most basic structure to begin with. Still don't know how to switch the button at the gas station when you fuel your car. Like, it's too late to ask, so I'm always standing there fueling manually. When you pull the trigger on the pump, if you move your index finger up it'll get caught under a piece of metal that swivels. If you push it forward it will come down and latch when you release the trigger, and voila, you no longer have to fuel manually. How to eat a proper amount of food. I've always overate everything. Meals and snacks. Usually 3 helpings for meals and huge snacks. I'm not good at knowing when I'm actually hungry. I usually just eat because I'm bored or it's around that time to eat. If I ever actually do get hungry, I get really shaky and nauseous with a fast heartbeat until I eat, but I don't think that is actually hungry. IDK. Maybe it is. I've been trying for years to eat normally, but it has only gotten worse. Maths. I struggled so hard in school. I went to tutoring and did extra work, but I never got a handle on certain basic stuff. It wasn't till my early 20s I found out I have dyscalculia. I've been ridiculed for it and I want to learn, but it doesn't seem worth the time when I can pull out my phone and use the calculator on it. Also, frick you, Mrs. Lawrence. I do walk around with a calculator in my pocket at all times. How does insurance work? What is the difference between an HMO and PPO? What is a premium? A deductible? How do I choose a plan? Why didn't you talk to me after you moved back into town? If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.